YouTubers, welcome back to another installment in our Archaeology and Restoration at Somerset series. Last time, we covered the restoration and paint analysis of the kitchen laundry. This project, which lasted from 1998 until 2001, also included funds to restore the dairy, which had first been restored in 1941 to 1942 by the Works Projects Administration and personnel from Pettigrew State Park. This work included replastering the walls and ceiling with metal lathing and replacing the floorboards. The 1998 to 2001 restoration of the dairy utilized the same contractors as that of the kitchen laundry, though Russell Steele did not investigate the former. The dairy restoration also followed the same process: a research phase, followed by design and construction phases. First, Terry M. Harper from the archaeology branch of Historic Sites came to Somerset on May 6, 1998, and dug a test unit next to the center brick pier on the east side of the dairy. Harper did not find a builder's trench or artifacts in the unit, but she did observe that the pier's bricks below the ground looked old or possibly original. Above ground, she noted that the pier contained a mixture of old and new bricks, with the old ones showing, quote, evidence of paint or whitewash. Then on April 22nd and June 17th, 1998, Ruth Little of Longleaf Historic Resources conducted an architectural investigation of the dairy. In her report, which she submitted on September 12th of that year, Little provided an in-depth analysis of the building's historical integrity. She noted, for instance, that the dairy's, quote, roof structure appears to be original and has been remarkably well preserved during this 150-year period. Little also examined the dairy's brick nogging, which are courses of bricks that were mortared in between the wall studs. She recognized that the bricks are, quote, mortared with Portland cement, with no evidence of sand mortar visible, suggesting that workers removed and relaid the bricks in 1941 and 1942. Little recommended that the site restore the dairy in a couple ways. She suggested, for instance, that Somerset, quote, replace the existing floor with wide, random width, tongue and groove pine flooring, and, quote, replace door hardware with reproduction butt hinges and box lock based on types used at Main House and Colony House. Overall, she thought that the dairy looked historically appropriate and recommended leaving most things as they were. In order to determine more about how the building looked historically, Somerset took the opportunity to speak to Kenneth Sawyer. In August 1998, Somerset staff interviewed Sawyer, who lived in the Colony House in the mid-20th century. Sawyer took them to various historical buildings in the owner's compound and provided his recollections. The main thing that he remembered about the dairy was that it was the, quote, Delco house. Delco was a lighting system invented in 1912 and widely used in North Carolina during the time of the Great Depression. He explained that electricity was generated in the dairy and then supplied to the Colony House, Collins family home, and the Fisherman's Club atop of Lake Phelps. As with the kitchen laundry, a paint analysis was done on the dairy to determine historical paints that were used. 4 paint samples from the interior and 4 from the exterior were submitted to Susan L. Buck at Historic Paint and Architectural Services for analysis. Buck concluded that the dairy was originally painted a dark gray blue, as you'll see if you visit our site today. She also concluded that the interior was first painted a cream color. Before construction work commenced, a team of archaeologists investigated the ground below the floor of the dairy. In early 2001, they dug 3 test units in the center, southwest, and northeast portions of the dairy's footprint, recorded locations of artifacts, and dug until they reached sterile soil. Beginning in September 2001, construction workers carried out the dairy's restoration. The project team implemented many of Ruth Little's recommendations, but since the dairy retained much of its historical integrity, there weren't many. Workers, for instance, replaced the flooring and replaced and added missing or damaged joists. Given the historical and interpretive value of the dairy's brick nogging, workers also cut out a section of the plaster wall so that visitors could see the brick nogging. The restoration of both the dairy and the kitchen laundry was part of a broader vision to make Somerset more historically accurate and inclusive of the enslaved experience. You can learn more about other projects that were completed to carry out this vision by watching our complete series about archaeology and restoration at Somerset Place. Until then, thanks for watching.